Hey everybody, let me know if you can hear me. In fact, I'm gonna do something real quick just to make sure that I can be heard because I have me on my television. Just to make sure. Okay. I have me on my television, so I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. How are you? Welcome back to Level Up Single Moms Woman Chat Wednesday. I am back. I am black. It is hot. So I'm coming to you barefaced. The top knot is back. The I tried to give you the little, side tendrils moment, but I don't know how well that's going to work. I don't know if it's actually considered a Brazilian keratin treatment, but I did like a keratin treatment on my head, but I chose to do the formaldehyde free one and just do as little damage as possible. It does work because my roots are not like they would be and could be. Like I can feel the dampness from sweat here, but my roots I straightened my hair like 2 days ago and my roots are pretty much still, straight. My hair is a little frizzy, which is why I put it in a ponytail instead of just wearing it down, and it's hot. But anyway, this is the best y'all won't get because it's hot, y'all. Like I'm trying. Today I'm just gonna do some things for kicks and giggles. I don't have any special guests today. Hey there, B. So I'm just going to talk about like current events. I guess what you could consider the latest in baby mama news. Just different things that have to do with baby mama type stuff. I didn't come in last week because I got caught out, and honestly, I was feeling a little iffy. It's a lot going on, but I'm gonna go ahead and do my intro, and then we'll come back and get started. I hate when it does it. I'm clicking on this thing and it's not doing it. Hey, Lantoinette. Hey, everybody. So, like I was saying, I've been going through to try to simplify it like a spiritual awakening. I think it's been a lot of things revealing themselves to me and a lot of requirements of me to make some changes and enforce some boundaries and do stuff. So there's been like an upheaval a bit in my life. I'm taking it in stride, I think, but just energetically I've been feeling kind of drained. And so last week it wasn't that I couldn't do a live. I could have pushed to do a live, but I just didn't. I just wasn't feeling it. My energy was off. So um that's why I didn't come in. You said yeah, this is my little setup here. Thank you. That's my name right there, and that's my head. It's symbolic of I call it exploring your mind, or it symbolizes exploring your mind for me because I've always, picking my mind apart and kind of noticing things, people watching and stuff like that. But I think that makes me feel good. It didn't take a lot for me to design it, but this was like a passion project for me because I was like, I want something pretty that kind of symbolizes, this whole level up single mom thing. I wanted a manifestation of it in my space. So the colors, I got the lavender plant, and then the turquoise and the gold or yellow. So this is my like level up single mom wall. So thank you so much. That makes me feel now I feel like an interior designer. But yeah, I just wasn't feeling all that great, and I actually found a meme that kind of embodies what I was talking about. Let me see. Yeah, so they say like this is what people think a spiritual awakening is like versus what it's actually like. And like sometimes I do straight up feel like I'm crazy, and I just feel like my life is what they say, my life got flipped, turned upside down. That's how it feels to me. And so sometimes I get very tired. Like I get affected by just my energy gets really, really, really low. And I just wasn't feeling it last week. So I didn't come in, but I'm back this week. Also, there was a lot of stuff going on last week that probably would have been very juicy to talk about, but I just didn't, because my energy was so low. I didn't feel like talking about it on here. I did engage in some conversations about it, like in the Discord and different things like that. But it just, I don't think I could have not maintained my composure. I don't know how to explain it, but I just didn't feel like talking about it. But I'm ready to talk about it this week. So I have a bunch of, like I said, ratchet news, ratchet baby mama current events or whatever. And I'm just going to kind of go down the line. So the first thing is the thumbnail, Summer Walker. I don't know how. Oh yeah, hi. First of all, put your comment up there, Tiff. But I'm so busy talking. But hi, Tiff. Hi, Christina, Lantinette, B. Welcome. Um, so I don't know who all knows who Summer Walker is here, who doesn't. But Summer Walker is a singer, contemporary R&B singer. She is in her mid to late 20s, I believe. And she is, well, she's famous for being a singer, but within the last couple of years, she was dating the producer London on the Track. And what was interesting was when she was first started dating him, she didn't have any children. It was just her. And she kind of had drew some attention to herself by getting into a little bit of a social media internet tiff with one of his baby moms, because I believe he has multiple baby mothers. But he was the guy that was like, I guess he was the I don't want to use that, dang. I was going to say the Timberland to her Aaliyah, and then I was going to say the R. Kelly to her Aaliyah child. But they were lovers and business partners. He was the one that was kind of behind. I'll say he was the Future to her Sierra for, I think it was Fantasy Ride was the album that Future produced for Sierra. And, so they were kind of gaining inspiration from each other, I guess, and it was just a good vibe for them. And it resulted in a pregnancy. But like right before she got pregnant, what you got, water? No. Right before she got pregnant, you want some of this? You hot? Okay. Right before she got pregnant, she had a lot to say about his baby mom, because in her opinion, they were just like jealous of her. That's always the go-to. They were jealous of her. They didn't have anything going on for themselves, so they were trying to mooch off of him. They were mad that he was putting all his energy into her. It was just a lot of reasons in her mind why they were mad that didn't necessarily have to do with his treatment of them being justifiably angering to them. It was just, their interpretation based off the fact that they wanted him and couldn't have him. That was pretty much the way that she was, the viewpoint she was coming from. Then she gets pregnant. And then for a while you didn't hear anything, which was interesting because, like I said, during that time period when she had everything to say about the baby moms, they were always, somewhere together showing each other off. But then she got pregnant and she got kind of quiet. Then next thing you know, it's coming out from her that he's not a good partner. He's not a good co-parent. He's not doing anything for her. I think that was after, was it when she was pregnant or after? I want to say it was after the baby was born. That all of a sudden she's singing the same song that the other baby moms were singing. And it's just like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? So everybody had a lot to say about that. Then she kind of transitioned out of that because she seemed like she got a new boyfriend. So she got a new boyfriend. She's with him. She's kind of, it looks like it's giving repeated cycles because, the visibility on social media, the things that she's saying about this particular person are very reminiscent of the things that she was saying about London at the time when everything was all good. So it's oh, he's done so much in my life. He is just so amazing. He's the best man ever. He's a wonderful partner, all of those things. And even more so because she's like, oh, yes, he's more of a father than, my child's biological father, so it's a lot of that, a lot of laying it on thick. And I'm not saying that's not how he's acting right now, but like I said, it's very much so giving repeated cycles. So then I think it was last week, news broke that she is pregnant again. Not surprising. My thoughts, like I said, it's giving repeated cycles. And I say that, without judgment. I say that as a single mother of 2 kids with different fathers. People go through their things. I will say that I don't know if I'll say that I feel like she took it in stride that she was wrong. Believe that she was wrong, when it came to the way that she came at the baby moms and things like that. And truth be told, I don't feel like everything that she was saying about the baby mom was inaccurate in the sense of, them just kind of wanting more resources and attention and maybe even a little shine off of London on the track at the time, because once London was in the doghouse with her, then the other baby mom that she was, beefing with before wound up defending him. So it is kind of giving whoever he likes best at the time. You know what I mean? Like whoever he likes best at the time and is treating the best at the time is going to forgive him, basically. So, I mean, I don't think that's the case with her. I really feel like she is someone who has enough going. I would hope that she's someone who had going on that if he did try to come back and like sweet talk her, that she wouldn't go for it. But yeah, so I just feel like I really truly hope with all my heart that this situation is what she thinks it is, that this person that she's with doesn't, do what a lot of dudes do, which is come into a situation where they know they can be, the band-aid over the gaping wound that needs probably stitches and just get what they want to get and maybe leave a little something behind in the form of a child and then go on about their business. I hope that this isn't a repeated cycle for her of, having this guy turn out not to be what it is. And now we got 2 babies in a situation where they're not, I'm not going to sit and say it's not the best situation. She is someone who has more resources. When she got pregnant, she had more resources than most single mothers did, definitely more than I did at her age. So there's no reason in the world why these kids can't have a great life. She seems like she's a very to the first baby, and I know she will be to the second. So all in all, aside from, we would love for kids to always come forth into the world in the most softest of situations where there's not a bunch of complication, there's not a bunch of arguing, infighting, there's not a bunch of conflict. But we shall see. So that is my thoughts on Miss Summer Walker. Next, Roe versus Wade. And I'm just going to kind of go through these things that I'm thinking about. And then, I can open up the floor if anybody wants to come and give any thoughts about it. But next, Roe versus Wade. So, Roe versus Wade was overturned in the Supreme Court. It should have been about 2 weeks ago at this point, I feel like now. Me personally, not having any particular plans on having any children, I don't feel like, and not really I'm dealing with any men at all. And when I say not really, I mean not like men aren't even near me. So I am grateful, that it's happening at a time when it's not something that needs to loom over my head. However, I do have an 18-year-old daughter. I make no illusions of believing that that I control her or her body. And I understand from firsthand experience that things happen, people do what they do. You are back. Hello, my love. I saw you. I didn't see the last couple of Instagram stories for the last couple of days, but I saw you were posting, so I'm have to go in. I hope they're not gone. But you were looking good. What I did see. Glad that you're back. Ready to. I hope you. Are you coming back on Friday, or are you taking the rest of the week off? I don't know, but whenever you come back on, I will be. Oh, I was talking about Roe versus Wade. So yeah, people aren't going to be. Well, for one, the states have control of it. So some states it's going to be harder to get one, or if not impossible. Themis is shouting everybody out, so I want to make sure everybody sees Themis shouting you out. Hi, Tori. First of all, it's BS. It's BS that they are doing that. I do agree with a lot of people when they say like this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what they're going to do. Okay, Themis is coming back Friday, so everybody mark your calendars, set your reminders, everything, so we can come back and welcome him back with open arms. What's interesting to me is the conversations about it. You know, I am a comment creeper from way back. I like to go into I like to see the content, but I also will be scanning the comments when I'm looking at ability. That is the internet's favorite word. Specifically in the sense of, you know, the mothers, the women. There's always this the it's almost like they have a cut and a paste. The guys are saying, oh yeah, now you women have to be accountable. And it's just like, aside from the regular responses we always give with, oh, you know, what is being accountable if not raising the children, you know, blah, blah, blah. But what's really, really interesting to me is this conversation about accountability, completely overlooking the fact that it takes two to make a baby. And that's always brought up, you know, when women are talking about, oh, we don't need men, the first thing they'll say is you need men to make a baby. You can't make a baby without men. You can't make a baby without sperm. We're talking about, you know, potential consequences or adversity that comes from making a, you know, now you have to be accountable. And it's just like, I'm so sick and tired of hearing the word accountability being used wrong. Accountability, another person can only hold another person accountable if that person did something to them. You out in the internet, some random man out in the internet can't hold me accountable for my children that have nothing to do with him. Some random woman out in the internet can't hold me accountable for my children that have nothing to do with them. And people will sit and say stuff about, oh, well, the taxes, the taxes, and the taxes. But here's something, a little quick fact about the government. They're not in the business of really cutting taxes. If they say, oh, we're going to stop taking money from you for this particular thing, best believe they're going to be taking that same amount of money, if not more, from you for some other reason. You get what I'm saying? So they're not going to take less money from you. So if you want to believe that me having children under whatever circumstances I'm having children under is somehow affecting you adversely in a way that you wouldn't be affected had I not had those children, I can't do nothing about you believing that, but you won't be feeling that way on your, you know, that is your cross to bear. You get what I'm saying? Like, that has nothing to do with me. And so it's really frustrating to me to keep seeing these conversations. And this is kind of like relevant to another subject that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But like, yeah, I'm really kind of sick of it. Like, can we just leave that? Like, just stop that. It's stupid. It's stupid and it's irrelevant. You know what I mean? If you don't like women, if you don't like women being sexual, if you don't like, you know, women making mistakes and things like that, like say that, but stop trying to cover this up wrap it up in this paper and bow and accountability and all. It has nothing to do with that. Like, you want to feel better. You want to feel better about whatever you have going on, because a lot of times too, it'll be women who had kids, had abortions, had different things going on. Like, it's not like there are people who fit this criteria of the perfect person that are just saying that. It's all different types of people that just feel like they can punch down. You know what I mean? And it's just very frustrating for me. It's triggering for me. That's what I'm saying. Like, last week I didn't really want to get into it in the heat of it, because I would have been Kermiting it. You know what I mean? Like, I just would have been going off, and I needed to conserve my strength. So that is that on that. That brings us into our next topic, which would be the McDonald's debacle. So a lot of the same talking points, a lot of similar issues. I can't say that I was surprised, but I was very much so with, again, it's always that lens of these wanton hussies out in the street that just want to do whatever, and thinking that everyone's going to pick up their slack and all of this other stuff. And I'm just like, and it's coming from women. It's coming from women. You know what I mean? Like, it's coming from women. And like, I'll say it all the time. I have been, yes, they often say accountability, but really they want to blame shame. I always say accountability is a tool and not a weapon. So therefore, accountability, when you're talking about me being accountable, if it's coming from you and your mouth and your energy, it is weaponized, because you don't get to hold me accountable unless it's something I did specifically to you. You can't hold me accountable for my life choices and the things that are going on in my life. The only way that I can truly be accountable is being accountable to myself. What you want to see when you're saying that is you want to see me shamed. You want to see me bowed, bent, and broken. You want to see me embarrassed. And then you don't want to see me that way so that you can build me back up. You want to see me that way so you can go, yeah. You get what I'm saying? And like, I don't have any time for that. And it's the same thing with this McDonald's situation. And mind you, I'm speaking as someone who is a single mother, like I said, of 2 children, different fathers or whatever. Now, I've never had the issue of, and I praise God for that, I've never had the issue of, oh, my babies are going hungry. You get what I'm saying? But I never had that issue because I have a village. I don't know what that sister situation is. I don't know where her village is. I don't know what was going on with that. And truth be told, she may have had a village and she may have had other things to do or other things that she could do. But I got, just based off of what she was saying and what was going on in this situation, the problem is you're not going to expect me to differentiate between is that people, again, women are saying, and mothers are saying, oh, well, she should consider the man and consider the man and consider the man. But if we were talking about a situation where she let her man starve her child, beat her child, and I'm talking about, situations where women actually do, where they let the man come in and abuse their children, because that is psychological abuse of sitting there and differentiating between the children. But this expectation that she's supposed to participate with him in differentiating between her children and setting up this wiring of saying, oh, you're different, you're not as good because your father this or your father that, or blah, 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 blah. The idea that she's supposed to participate with him, that she's not supposed to advocate for her children, that she's not supposed to say, hey, you don't get to do this. This isn't how it's going down. My baby, everybody's equal in here. You get what I'm saying? This idea that she's not supposed to feel that way or say that way or act on the behalf of her children is really kind of mind-boggling to me. Also, there's the point of where, she went in and she did a response to the response of what she had originally posted, and she explained further, this is what he did when he first came around, and people are like, oh, well, he's not messing with you anymore. Again, I keep saying women because it's the women that's really killing me. when a guy is dealing with a single mother, because this gets into that predation and this gets into that woman sanctioned predation. If a man comes in and knows that you have children and knows that you're the type of woman that he needs to do for your children in order to get close to you, then when he can't get close to you anymore, doesn't want to get close to you anymore, then he switches up. That is wrong, because that means that he was doing that solely to get in your pants. So we're talking about morals here and everything like that. He used, oh, well, this is the child that matters. That's fucked up. That's, I don't, y'all see this? And it is what it is. Like I said, like, he's a grown man. She can't control him. I'm not saying that she should be able to control him. I'm not saying that he can't be autonomous. But if you sitting there saying, oh, we shouldn't be side-eyeing him, or we should be side-eyeing him less than her, but they're not even saying like we should be side-eyeing him less than her. They're straight up saying like, oh, he shouldn't get the side-eye. He's a great daddy. You know, like, no, the heck he isn't. He's a horrible person. You know what I mean? He's a horrible person. And you're saying like, oh, she shouldn't have thrown the food. If anybody is trying to minimize any of my kids, I'm going to be livid. I'm going to go off. I don't care. It's because it's not cute and it's not funny, and that's not a time. Like, because at the end of the day, I'd rather my kids seeing me act a monkey on their behalf and advocating for them than to see me demurely and femininely submitting to a guy saying, yeah, these kids aren't worth as much as this kid that came out of my penis. Because what is that going to make your children feel about you? And I actually, is a passage in my book. Many of us will loudly profess the pain our mothers inflicted on us, yet can't make the correlation between the similarities in our romantic choices and how our children might be affected in ways similar to the ways we were. So there's a lot of people that'll sit there and talk about seeing, mother wounds. We had a thing on here about mother wounds and how the ways our mothers parented us or didn't parent us affected our self-esteem, affected our self-worth, which in turn affected our choosing and vetting, affected our relationship picking, affected, the ways we show up or don't show up for ourselves. Yet we have women and mothers and aunties and grandmas and everything saying, oh yeah, well, the right thing to do and the fair thing to do was for the man, the grown man who made his choices in coming. And like I said, if he knew that he had to show up for them 3 kids before he made another kid, then that means he knew what type of woman and mother he was dealing with. So this man that came into this situation and didn't leave it any better for those kids, let's be honest, and then saying she's not being accountable. She is being accountable because she's showing up for all 4 of her children as she should. She had 4 children, so she's showing up for all 4 of those children. You get what I'm saying? That's what she's supposed to do. But as if I'm supposed to give this man a cookie because he got what he wanted, and now he's like, oh, I'm taking. It reminds me, it's giving, what was that dance movie when Shawn Wayans came? He's like, I'm here to pick up my son, and then he picks the son up. And then he goes, yeah, little man. And then he puts it back down and says, yeah, I'll be next week. I'll be back next week to pick him up again. Like it's giving that. And we're supposed to go, yes, black man. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying like I'm all for, like I said, I just want people to treat people the way they would want to be treated, especially children. And it's like, you're like, well, what about the man? What about his feelings? Men don't care, which is clear. He didn't care about the implications of dealing with a woman that had 3 children when he approached this woman that had 3 children. He didn't care about that. But he cared enough to play the part enough to get the vagina he wanted. You get what I'm saying? I don't like that dipping your toe in and then jumping back. I don't like that stuff. Like, if you're not down, and like I said, based off of what I can see, she is being consistent. Because if he was doing for all 3 of the children, and that indicates to me that she's the type of woman that required that he had to do that to even get close enough to impregnate her, which is the type of things that the same women will sit and come at a woman about when they don't. If she was saying, oh, he never did nothing for my kids, you'd be saying, you shouldn't have had sex with him. So she's saying that he did what he needed to do in order to allow him around her and her children to get comfortable enough to make another baby. And now he's switching up. Oh, well, he shouldn't have to, and he shouldn't have to. And what about his new woman if he gets a new? Because that's really what it is. That is really what it is. Because all of us women who are sitting around waiting for our, white knight. It's funny. I used to fancy myself a songwriter. And it was this one particular song that I caught myself trying to write, and it was called I'm in Love with the Bad Guy. And it was about being the woman who comes, after the baby mom, or I'm trying to hide this thing. Being the woman who comes in like after the baby mom, the woman that he is treating the best. You know what I mean? Because he's in love with you now, and he wants to build a life with you now. So maybe he's doing things for you that he didn't do for her, and you're just kind of like, oh, no, I don't know what happened between you guys, but the children are involved, and I'm going to be the best stepmom. Could have never been an asshole because he's being so great to me. Let me see. I heard all sorts of what next. Does he have to buy clothes? When does it? Exactly that idea of when does it end? And my question is, it ends when it's necessary. But I'm saying, here's my perspective as an adult, as a woman who advocates for children and just people who are needy and things like that. It's not about him spending all his money. Because again, and I said that I'm damn near an accountant when it comes to eating out, because I remember them days that me and my kids was eating we couldn't get the meals. We were eating off the value menu because I could use the same amount of money or less that I would spend on one meal to feed me and two children. So it's not a matter of whether or not it was possible for him to bring something that the kids could share at the same price point. That is not an issue. The issue is the idea that why should he think about these kids? And no, technically he does not have to think about these kids. It's not that he has to, but what does it sit and expect their mother to allow him to do? It's not. But all these men walk around, and the idea is that men want respect. But the way he's moving is not respectable. It's not something that makes me go, that's a great man. You're not a great man because you bring one kid out of 4 food. That doesn't make you a great man. That makes you a bottom of, not even a bottom of the barrel, but you average at best. You get that's an average at best situation. But these are the same ones whining and crying about women getting told Happy Father's Day. The amount of times that me and my girlfriends have exchanged money, have acted as the fathers for my girlfriend's children, and then vice versa to me. Stepping in, oh, they need money for this, here, you got this, and then the next time, oh, here's some money, or here's you need something, here you go. Doing for each other as a community, as a village. Not to mention the fact that not thinking about how the child's going to be affected, how that's going to make them feel, and how that's going to affect their relationship. There's so many other implications that comes with being an adult in the situation, and this idea of just I'm standing on my rights, and it's like, okay, first of all, I'm all for boundaries. I'm all for standing up for yourself, and I'm all for not allowing. What's wrong, baby? Oh, okay. I'm all for not letting people take advantage of you. It's not about me saying you, but it depends on how you look at it. Like I said, if it's a matter of, oh, I'm not spending all my money, cool. Take that same $7 and go to Little Caesars. Because it ain't about appeasing the mother. It's about not scarring the children. You know what? Like that is that. Here, I had to talk it out. It's not about appeasing the mother. It's about not scarring the children. And you can't see that, if you can't grasp that, if you know, the girls that get it, and the girls that don't. You know what I mean? Hey, True Mystique. She said he's giving the McDonald's in front of other children. Also, why McDonald's and not just general, more nutritional grocery shopping to the household that his child lives in? Well, I will say, when it comes to the situation, it seems like, because she said she said that she was running out of stamps, or she had ran out of stamps because of inflation. Things went up, which is also true, and I've been through that too. Being on food stamps, being on a budget, when things start to go up, everybody's like, she got lashes, she got nails, she got this and that. So if she already did what she was supposed to do, and did her budgeting for the month, but then the stuff goes up, how is that her fault? And she said till the 7th. And mind you, I'm not even going to say so. He should have, but he could have. That was one of the, like, what I'm saying is there's a lot of other options that he could have used that wouldn't have, because she said he'd been bringing McDonald's for the last couple of days. So I'm going to just assume that he's bringing one meal, and that meal is around $7-8. And so let's say $7-8 over 3 days is what, like $32 or something. That can be bread. Bread at Walmart costs less than $1. Like a loaf of white bread at Walmart costs like 89 cents or something. Lunch meat and cheese, Kool-Aid packets. Can he just take his kid? He could just take his kid, but it's the same thing in my eyes. I mean, yes, he can just take his kid, but for me, the problem is not about, preventing him from doing for his child. The problem is about, we always talk about how men are looked at as trash in this community, how they're not looked up to. If you want to be looked up to, I says it right here in my book, the legacy you live is the legacy you live. Be better. You know, it doesn't take more money. It really doesn't even take that much more effort. You're leaving your house to go somewhere to get some food. So just kind of switch it up a little bit and get enough for all the kids. So now all the kids are saying, you know what? When I think of that man, he didn't have to do for me, but damn, you get what I'm saying? If you don't want people looking at you like that, don't act like that. You get what I'm like? But we'll have these men that come on to different people's lives. That's all on the internet. That's mad because people are looking at them this way. But these are the things that make people look at you this way. If there's a child involved, don't worry about whether or not the woman is getting something out of it. Worry about the child, because you left a child there. Like I said, the woman had 3 kids when he came. And based off of what she said, if he was doing for the 3 kids, he knew she was the type of woman that wanted to make sure her kids were good. All of them. If he knew he had to do for all 3 kids in order to get close enough to get her pregnant, then he knew that she's someone that wants to make sure her kids have. I just don't, I don't know. I don't know. It's a little weird. To me, it's just weird. It says when about these children, when my kid is with her friends, I feed all the kids. That's what I'm saying. Like, it ain't even got nothing to do with who's sleeping with who. If there's a kid around me, they're going to eat. Like, what the heck? When my kid is with her friends, I feed all the kids, not just her. I can't see myself not feeding other children their kids. I've even seen a content creator I really respected shame the mother for having multiple babies. That's what it really boils down to, because at the end of the day, this isn't about the children. Nobody cares about the well-being of the children. It goes right back to what we was talking about with the accountability at Roe versus Wade. People want to see single mothers like this. They want to see us talking timidly. They want to see us saying please and thank you. They want to see that. And this is really interesting. I had a situation where, or I've been in situations where, let's say I did something wrong to somebody. Like I mistakenly did something wrong. It wasn't my intention, but I wronged this person in some kind of way. And then this person is like upset, and rightfully so. But then you apologize. But for whatever reason, that person decides that apology is not enough. And it's just like they feel like because you wronged them in the first place, they get to do whatever to you until they feel satisfied. That's not how it works. And then, like I said, especially in this type of situation, these women ain't even doing nothing to y'all. These ain't y'all kids. Nothing's coming out of your pocket that ain't going to come out regardless any type of way. If we talking about the government, and I mentioned that earlier, for anybody who wasn't here, if you feel like your money's going towards all these boards of the state and all these charity cases, the government is going to get your money either way. So whether they say they're getting it to help the needy, single mothers, or whether they say they're going to take it for military expenses, or whether they're taking it for state tax or whatever it is, it's going to get taken. So this idea that, it's these mothers that are just taking all these taxes from us is, please stop lying to yourself. It's the government. They want it. They won't take it. So it's like, I can't get down with that. A rose by any other name is still the same thing. As these same people these same people that want to save Ukraine but don't care about the kids around them, like, And thank you so much, True Mystique. And then we complain about these kids growing up to be messed up, but look at the values they're instilling in them. And it's not even just the values you're instilling in them. Look at what you're telling them about themselves by your actions. The message, I'm concerned about the message that behavior sends to the children. And this idea that you want the mother to participate in that messaging that, hey, well, you deserve less because I'm a failure. You deserve to not get what your brother gets because he's special enough that his parent, because that's what they're going to think. And that's how they're going to feel. And that's what I'm concerned about. I don't give a damn about the mama, honestly. I don't give a damn about the father. I care about how these children are going to perceive themselves based off of the way that this is handled. And in this situation, her acting a monkey over those kids and over the fact that he's trying to show these kids indirectly that they are lesser in this way is going to be better for them long term than her allowing him to, Lion King lift up this one child, in front of them. That's how I feel about it. It says, I'm embarrassed and ashamed that food being given to children is a topic to debate. I'm old, but this is just bad manners. If your child's other siblings are present, feed them all. That's, and that is that's the spirit of old timey situations. That's the spirit of the olden days. Everybody wants to get back to the olden days, right? Everybody wants to go back to being served the way they were served in the olden days, but nobody wants to go back to those values of we are a unit. Everybody matters. Everyone's important. Everyone's valuable. You get what I'm saying? And like I said, these are supposed to be the leaders of the community. This idea that they shouldn't have to be beset upon. A leader is a servant. A leader is a servant. When everything is in order, a leader is a servant first. I don't look at myself as the Lord over my children. I am their servant. I brought them here to guide them and protect them and take care of them. And that's what that parent, the mother, was doing. And the other one was just doing what he was obligated. You get what I'm saying? Because as a parent, by the law, it's giving age of consent. You get what I'm like? It's giving, how can I skate by? How can I, it's giving that. It's giving shifty. You know what I mean? It's giving shifty as opposed to, how can this a win-win? How can this be a win? How can we all win? How can we all be okay? How can I fulfill my duties and also harm? And I don't care what anybody says. If she let that go down like that, and not even if she let it go down like that, if she participated in it by telling the kids like, hey, this is just the way it is, this is life, this is the world, then we're gonna have a bunch of angry kids that are angry because they feel lesser and they don't know what to do about it, coming out into the world and perpetuating more of the same. And that's what I'm concerned about. Right. And that's also too, like, people acting like, oh, well, he's a good father because no, it is giving you a burden. So I'm going to do the bare minimum. Yeah. People don't think about that. Like the way because the father is showing up with like something, oh, that's great. oh, it's so great, but it's still bare minimum. And I'm saying, and mind you, I'm not even saying like he had to do a whole bunch. Like I said, it still would have been bare minimum if it still would have been bare minimum if he went to Little Caesars and got a pizza. However, he didn't have to do that, so he would have got more of a wow, thank you, Mr. So-and-so. Oh, yeah, when I think about Mr. So-and-so, he always treated me so nice, blah, 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 as opposed to when they get older, fuck that nigga. He was only cool when he was getting something from my mom. You get what I'm saying? The way you act is the way you want to be remembered. But then they be so hurt and upset when we talk the way we talk about them. Like, I don't get it. But yeah, I'm just saying the same things over and over. So I'm gonna move past that. That's my thoughts on that. It says you would think that giving money to single mothers would be more fulfilling. Think making these politicians rich. Yeah. It says, and Nia X says again they want single mothers to be branded with the scarlet. That's what I'm saying. But it is what it is. I'm gonna put it right here on my chest like a Superman S. And say what you want to say, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like I don't have time. It says, yep, bingo, vitamin key, the child will suffer over and over. I agree. These are the children because what they don't want to touch is you want to brand these people. You want to brand the single mothers. But guess what? The single mother, if you go back far enough, it was a situation like that. It was somewhere along the line that somebody made that person, that child, that who's now a woman and or a man, feel like they were less than. And so they're moving forward in life with that same feeling of being less than and allowing some other broken person or some other, damaged person, a deceitful person, whatever person come in and damage them further, and kids are being mean. Like, let's break the cycles of the bare minimum. Because America is actually giving us the bare minimum. You get what I'm saying? But when we're saying, hey, we need equality, no, you're not a slave anymore. It's giving, you're not a slave anymore. What's your problem? You had a black president. What's your problem? That's what it's giving. So from there, we're talking about accountability. We're talking about baby mamas. And I mentioned a little bit earlier about how I feel like some of the women are those women that want to be the picked one, that want to be the one that is different from the other women that just didn't evoke the spirit of divine masculinity out of him to make him want to be that kind of leader and that kind of man. And you know what I mean? Like, those are the people. So now we're going to talk about Jazzy Brown. Okay. That's basically, we're going to talk about Jazzy Brown. So one, I have no idea who Jazzy Brown is, because I am a bit older. Probably, I don't know. I have no idea who Jazzy Brown is, but I've been seeing clips of an interview she did with Shan Booty. I know who Shan Booty is. I never really watched a lot of her stuff, but I remember seeing her. So I know she was a YouTuber and she has her own platform. So, she's an internet. Oh, so she's like B. Scott. She's like B. Scott. I'm gonna go to. Oh, it's not on Instagram. Did I? I'm trying to see. I was trying to pull stuff up for you, but this computer is just don't be giving. This computer does not be giving at all. One of these days, I will get me a new computer, and we'll be able to have the production value you deserve. But right now, I'm the content creator you need, not the one you deserve. But she is someone who is Instagram famous, and it says she was best friend with Hazel from Degrassi. So I guess that Shan Booty was Hazel from Degrassi. I never watched Degrassi. So she went on to her friend's platform, and they were talking about, I don't know how they got around to talking about her relationship with Cam Newton. Now, we all know who Cam Newton is. And I've seen a lot of hot takes about this, but there's one aspect of it that I haven't seen anybody talk about. So I'm kind of like excited that and somebody might have talked about, but I haven't seen it. So she was talking all this stuff about how she is just so, it brings her joy to be his peace and like to be his, basically like his concierge, to anticipate his every need, and so that he doesn't even have to speak or think. She can just do anticipate every need that he has and just make it happen for him and comfort him, and even tickle him to sleep and all this other stuff, which is fine, which is great. But then in the same conversation, she's saying these things that are like waving the biggest of red flags about how she doesn't feel like it's safe, or she just doesn't feel like it's an option for her to actually talk about her feelings to him, to the point where she just cries in the shower if she has any issues. She's allowing him to use her sexually in ways that physically hurt her. Wants it, she just lets it happen. It's just it's very off-putting. And then I saw like this one guy, oh my God, he was like insufferable, and it looked like he was a little testy about it. He posted the video of her saying like how she caters to Cam and everything like that, and he's like, and when Shan asked her, well, what do you get out of it? And he's like, that's a stupid question, and that's what's wrong with you modern women, and blah 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 blah. Why would you even ask that? And I'm like, that is a relevant question, because a lot of times when people want to say women aren't choosing well, women aren't vetting, like when we get into those situations where we are with someone and we're kind of going, wait a minute, what's going on here? So like, for instance, when somebody is catering to you and all of your children when they want to get some stuff, but then once you have a baby with them and now they're actually responsible for something they don't want to be around anymore, then you start saying, wait, what's going on? Things are changing, and you decide to make a change. Those are the questions you have to ask yourself. You know what I mean? Like, those are the questions. When things were one way and then all of a sudden they're feeling different, you have to start asking yourself, wait a minute, what am I getting out of this? What am I doing this for? Is this, do I feel like I am giving from an empty cup? Do I feel like it's a reciprocal, flow of energy? Or is it just me giving and giving and giving and giving and not getting? Am I feeling depleted? And he was just kind of like, well, you shouldn't have any expectations. And if you're just going to give, you're just going to give. And it's just like, that's how people wind up in situations where all of a sudden they turn around and this person is a villain to them, because they just kept giving and giving and giving and giving and not stopping and saying, wait a minute, am I getting anything? Am I getting what I need? What do I need? Because it's not just those questions. Those questions of, am I getting anything, are the beginning. Like I said, where am I at? Exploring your mind. Ask those questions. Hey, what am I getting out of this? You may be getting something out of this, but it may not be what you need. You know what I mean? You may not be getting what you actually need. You creeping out? I said, like, to course correct. Because sometimes we wind up in relationships that we never should have been in the first place. We go in for relationships because of a certain thing that we are going towards. We don't even know we're being drawn towards. And like, I didn't watch the full, I didn't watch the interview at all. But I'm seeing like people are talking about how she was talking about she was abused in the past in similar ways, that she just was giving too much and shouldn't have been in similar, So this, again, it's giving cycle. It's giving pattern of behavior. You get what I'm saying? It's giving unhappy ending. You get what I'm saying? But this idea that, oh yeah, that's how you're supposed to be, you're not supposed to think about it. But like I said, then when you do that and you wind up in a situation where you can't keep giving because you have nothing left to give, and now because you have nothing left to give, this person is done with you, then it becomes, oh, you should have chosen better. So while it's all good for the man, you're not supposed to question it and course correct before you have nothing left. Then once you keep doing that and you have nothing left and the man doesn't want you, it's, you know what I mean? It never ceases to amaze me the way all of this is set up to just trip you up, to keep you stuck, to keep you, under people's foot, under people's thumb. It's just hard. Like, people just generally don't think, and they don't think about how they would feel. They don't think about how it requires you, in order to move in the way people want these women to move, want women to move in general, the way that person has to degrade themselves and lessen themselves and lower themselves and forfeit their dignity. That's this book says The Single Mother's Guide to Reclaiming Her Dignity. Dignity is the key word. Not pride, not ego, dignity. That mother was defending her children's dignity. Roe versus Wade is taking away women's dignity. And it wouldn't have been undignified for them. I'm back on it. Yes, it wouldn't have been undignified for that man to get food for them children. It would have made him a great man and not just an average at best. You know, you want to be treated like a great. You want to be a high value man, do valuable things. Feeding children you don't have to is valuable. Feeding who you're obligated to feed is bare minimum. And those are just facts. So, but what I wanted to point out was, I don't think anyone has mentioned the fact that, I don't know if it was the beginning, I feel like it was the beginning of this year, that Cam Newton himself, his name Cam Newton? I don't know what his name is. I know his name is Cam, and I can see his face. But earlier this year, he actually was talking about, because he is a baby mom, and I believe he has 4 kids with that woman. He was with her for a long time. But he was talking about how women aren't old school anymore. How women don't just do basically what she was like. When I was listening to her and when I found out who she was dating, I said, it's giving job interview. You know what I mean? It's giving, oh yes, I'm the one for the job. This is exactly what you said you wanted, and this is what I am. Yep. And that was before, because like I said, I don't know her. Then shout out to Erica De Niro TV. Erica had pointed out that she had been saying in April, which was probably around the time or maybe a little bit after, how women don't need to be doing what she's doing. Women don't need to be catering and just giving and giving and giving and giving without asking themselves what they're getting, without making sure that their needs are being met and things like that, because the men are not going to stop you. If you give them without having any requirements for yourself, they're going to take them and they're not going to feel any type of way about it. And she was saying this back in April. So when I'm listening to her and I'm seeing that she felt that way in April, and I'm seeing how she's feeling now, and I'm looking at him and who he is, and I'm looking at what he said, and I'm just like, okay, sis is trying to be the one. And she's like, oh yes, I'm a healer, and I just heal broken people, and I'm just that one. Basically, like, I am that unicorn. All those other women didn't have what I have. I have magic. I have sugar walls. You know, I have a platinum vagina that houses fairy dust that, you know, is going to go in through their penis and it's going to, you know, spread throughout their body, and then they're going to float up. She said, this is a drag session. You did say you were tired. I was tired. Yeah, I am tired. I am tired. Like, I'm tired of seeing this stuff. I'm tired of people picking on people. And I'm tired of, I'm highlighting this because it shows this is how we get to those places where women aren't nice to other women. She wants to be picked. She wants that man, that particular man, to pick her. She wants to be the difference maker. And there's nothing wrong with that, in the sense of that is how women wind up being branded with the scarlet letter, because this is how it starts. Because God forbid that woman gets pregnant. God forbid that woman gets pregnant. But there's never any compassion. And like I said, we're all sitting back. We all sit back and watch the train wreck. We sit back and watch Summer Walker. We sit back and watch it. And then when there are little baby people who are in need for whatever reason, we say, well, they don't deserve the help that they need because that woman should have chosen better. But I'm listening to this woman and I'm listening to her speak her pain and not even realize it. And I'm listening to this woman illustrate to us and kind of see, because they were saying like you could kind of see her listening to herself speak out loud. I sit my daughter down and we'll talk about things, and I make her, like, I'll see her thinking about stuff, but she won't say what she's thinking, and I make her speak, because sometimes it's not until you say the stuff out loud that you go, what the heck am I saying? What the heck am I saying? That makes absolutely no sense. You get what I'm saying? And we watch these things. These are not separate stories. All of these things are related. And mind you, I'm just putting this together because I'm speaking out loud. All of these things are related. A Jazzy Brown is a Summer Walker, is a baby mom who's not going to let the new baby dad throw her other kids to the side. You get what I'm saying? It all becomes the other thing. And all along the way, there are people who are going to sit and say, oh, well, woman, you're the problem. And I'm not saying like a woman is of any person. My question is, how is your judgment and your accountability? And I'm sorry, Tiff, I'm not, your thing is up there because I just be leaving them up there. I'm not dragging you. But your opinion and your accountability, did it go away? Is not helping them to regain their dignity in order to come from that place of what's it called? Sovereignty, to make the decisions that are right for them, to start asking the questions, to start figuring out what they actually want and need, to start course correcting, you know? So yeah, it's a drag because it's frustrating for me as someone who wants, she said, you better weave this. As someone who just wants, that's what this channel is about. That's what this channel is about. Like, please stop this. It's a lie. Single mothers are no more or less flawed than anybody else. But why is it that we always have to bear the brunt of the burden of the responsibility and the shame and the blame and the wrong and the responsibility and like everything? We want, I want greatness in our men too, but they gotta, why men great? So they gotta be great. Be great. Be great. Feed the children. Like to feed all the children. Be great. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. So I am going to, if anyone cares to, because I think I haven't run out of steam, but that was all I had to say. That is how patriarchy works, Lance and Nat. Exactly how patriarchy works. And, we are cognizant. Oh, that's another interesting thing, because we were talking about FD Signifier, and like people were talking about how they didn't like FD Signifier. They felt like he's a grifter and stuff like that. And I'm just like, he just points out the same way I pointed out, like, we women participate in it too. We don't realize we're doing it. Everybody has their reasons. You know what I mean? Everybody has their reasons, but we participate in it too. It says when single mothers are mentioned in the visual, seems to always be. I'm not sure. But yeah, they always find a way to blame the woman. Oh, by the way, the book link is in the description. And they do always try to find a way to blame the Black woman. Yeah, it's always our fault. It's always, and I feel like, ultimately it's all rooted in slavery. I feel like the men being the ones that were supposed to be the barrier between the Black women and the Black children, and oblivion, adversity, violence, whatever, they weren't able to do so. And that is when I have had to sit down and look at the ways that I had failed the people that I was in charge of. That is painful, and it's shameful, and it's hurtful, and it makes you want to just melt away into the floor. But you gotta allow yourself to feel that stuff. And it's very ironic to me that they'll sit and go, you need to be accountable. But it's like that meme with the angry face with the tears streaming down it's like, no, you need to figure out what's going on with you and why you have so much vitriol for me and you don't even know me. You don't know me. You're not my baby father. You have no ties to this situation, but yet you feel so strongly and vehemently that I have something to be accountable for that I'm not being accountable for while I'm raising and caring for and doing the best by my children. And I'm not for it. I'm not for it. So that means like this is a fair enough stream. I want to thank everybody for coming in, everybody for participating. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let me see, do I have any other announcements? Oh yeah, if you weren't here earlier, Themis said he's going to be going live on Friday, so that's a treat. But just say nope, it's you need to feel bad and ashamed for your life so that I can feel justified in my feelings too. Pow! I love that sound. I would get that sound in a button one day. Why did Themis laugh? I'm gonna get that sound in the button. I don't know how you guys get the sound effects. Maybe I need to pay for a StreamYard. I don't know, but I'm gonna get that. But yeah, so I will see you guys next week. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. It's hot, y'all. I'll see you guys next week. I'm gonna play the outro and then we're gonna go. Love you, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back next week, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh no.